Our MC, John Wick, wakes up early in the morning to visit his dying wife Helen and watches her pass away. They hold a funeral for Helen and Marcus is there to give his condolences. John thinks he's there for a reason, but Marcus leaves shortly after giving his condolences. John gets a delivery from Helen because she knows John will need it after she passes, and that's her final gift to help him get through the sadness. The next morning Daisy wakes John up because she needs to take a dump. After breakfast John goes out with Daisy, but when he is filling up gas, a group of gangsters show up. One of the gangsters named Lozef Tarasov likes John's car and wants to buy it off him, but John isn't willing to sell it. Victor gets Lozef to back off and sends John off. John goes to the airstrip to test his car's performance and almost crashes into the trucks. He calls it a night, but the dog runs off and he follows it thinking she needs to go potty. John is knocked down when he sees two men in his house and they start beating him. Daisy runs off when they are tearing down the house and one of them shuts Daisy up. Lozef reveals himself and knocks John out. Lozef brings the car to Aurelio to get a new VIN and papers. Aurelio questions them because he knows who the car belongs to and shoos them out. A spoiled Lozef demands Aurelio to do it, and Aurelio sucker punches Lozef when he finds out they left John alive. Gregory pulls his gun, but Victor gets him to chill and threatens Aurelio with Vigo.
Vigo is not gonna like this.
When John wakes up he finds Daisy dead and he buries her. John tries to recall what happened when cleaning the floor and goes to Aurelio. He finds out Lozef is Vigo's son and gets a car from Aurelio to go home. John grabs a sledgehammer and starts hammering the floor to get his equipment for the hunt. Vigo calls Aurelio about hitting his son and lets it go when he finds out Lozef messed with John.
Because you stole John Wick's car, sir, and killed his dog.
Oh.
Avi congratulates Vigo on the deal, but Vigo just wants to know where Lozef is. Vigo sucker punches Lozef when he returns because he messed with John. John used to work for them and they called him Baba Yaga because he was the guy they sent to terminate the boogeyman. John was given an impossible mission to be set free from the underworld, and now he's known for completing that task. Vigo tells Lozef to wait for his death because he knows John will end him.
You will do nothing because you can do nothing.
John gets a call from Vigo to handle this matter civilly, but John hangs up on him. Vigo hires Avi's men to go after John. A group of intruders break into John's house and John swiftly takes out the initial intruders who went to his room. John sees them approaching with caution, but he still takes them out. He starts beating the intruders when the intruders disarm him and brutally ends them. Officer Jimmy shows up to John's house for noise complaints to see the aftermath and leaves when he finds out John isn't back but is just sorting things out. John calls Charlie for cleaning services to get rid of the bodies. Avi tells Vigo the bad news and he puts a $2 million contract for John's death. Vigo personally visits Marcus to tell him, and Marcus promises to take care of it. Marcus prepares the weapons he will use and goes out to hunt. John books a room at the Continental Hotel to look for Winston to find out where Lozef is hiding. Winston is surprised to see John because he got out of the fold and warns him to not dip into the pond, otherwise it will drag him back into the fold, but John is doing it for a personal matter. John returns to his room to suit up once Winston gives him the info. Avi finds out John is at the Continental and has a contact who's willing to take on the bounty. Vigo is willing to pay double if they break the Continental's rules. John goes to the Red Circle nightclub after suiting up and follows Victor to the back to enter from there. He surprises Francis and lets him go when he gives John information. Kirill warns Lozef to stop goofing around because he should be afraid of John and takes his bottle. John swiftly takes out Luke when he sneaks in and eliminates Victor for revenge after he gives up Lozef's location. He spots Lozef and goes on a killing spree to get to him. Security is checking the area but cannot spot John yet. John is about to terminate Lozef, but a security gets in the way and tackles John into the open to alert everyone of John's presence. John takes out multiple securities and shows Lozef that he can eliminate everyone before taking him out. Another security gets in John's way but he can terminate him. Due to plot armor, John misses all his shots when Lozef runs across the glass wall and John follows after Lozef. Lozef informs the security about John and John is just executing all of the securities with a headshot. John loses Lozef when he runs out of ammo and he is forced to engage in close combat, but he gets wrecked. Lozef calls Victor after getting away safely, but John informs him that Victor is dead. John goes back to the hotel to call for a doctor to patch him up and bourbon to numb the pain. Marcus sets up his sniper on the rooftop to eliminate John, but he misses when he sees someone entering his room. John sees Perkins and dodges her shots. He uses the cloth to strangle her and they start fighting. Perkins targets John's injury and John uses the bedsheets to beat her. Sharon calls John about noise and he offers a dinner reservation for the uninvited guest. John takes that offer and goes back to deal with Perkins to find out where Lozef or Vigo is. Perkins tells John where Vigo keeps his money to save herself and John knocks her out. Harry checks if John is good and John gets Harry to babysit Perkins. John goes to the church and terminates all the mobsters to get the Pope to open the safe. The Pope doesn't want to die but John shows him what he will do if he doesn't comply. He opens the safe and John goes in there to throw everything into a pile to burn it all. John watches Vigo arrive at the church to find his secret stash lit up.
Blitz! Can we recover for this?
Vigo, you know what was in that vault?
Vigo gets his men to execute the Pope and suddenly John shows up to terminate his men to go after Vigo. John shoots down the mobsters with precision but Kirill gets into a car to ram into John to knock him out. At the hotel, Perkins frees herself from the handcuffs and lures Harry closer so she can eliminate him. When John wakes up he is tied up and Vigo starts beating John because John burnt all of Vigo's useful blackmail footage. They both agree that the organization is a curse and John wants Vigo to hand Lozef to him because Lozef took John's opportunity to grieve alone after ending the dog. John announces that he's back in the fold and they start suffocating him while Vigo leaves. Marcus eliminates one of the mobsters, letting John free himself to go after Kirill. John struggles to beat him but eliminates him by strangling him to death. He sees Vigo getting away but catches up to him by taking a shortcut and the car crashes when John shoots at them. Vigo is willing to tell John where Lozef is if John lets him walk but John wants Vigo to pull the contract also to leave unharmed. He agrees to the deal and tells John where Lozef is located. John infiltrates the defense line to eliminate the people guarding Lozef. Lozef witnesses his men dropping like flies and tries to escape but John already rigged the cars to blow up. John goes after a fleeing Lozef and finishes the job. Vigo orders his men to commence Phase 2. John goes back to the hotel to check out and Sharon gives John a car for last night's inconvenience. He meets with Marcus after and thanks Marcus for saving him before going back into retirement. Perkins sees their interaction and when Marcus is going home, he is surrounded by mobsters. They strip him of his weapons and he puts everything down to find out what they want. Vigo gives Marcus a good beating because he had multiple chances to eliminate John but didn't and now his son is dead. He wants to end Marcus on his terms but Marcus takes the opportunity to fight back to end it on his terms and Vigo finishes him off.
You go out on my terms. No, my good sir. I go out on my own.
Vigo calls John to thank John for giving Lozef a swift death but he got rid of Marcus for betraying him. John U-turns to go to Marcus's place to find his mentor dead. Perkins gets a call from Sharon to meet up. When she arrives, Winston revokes her membership to the Continental and a firing squad ends her. Winston calls John to let him know what Vigo is doing. John goes to the docks for Vigo to get revenge for Marcus and gets rid of one of the cars. Vigo knew John would come and asks for a gun while laughing hysterically. John smashes their car into a pole and Vigo sends his men to go after John. John uses the car to ram into them and eliminates them one by one. Avi takes a gun from Vigo and shoots at John but his aim is trash which lets John end him. Vigo rams into John who is distracted by Avi and tries running him off a ledge. John can get out of the car in time before it falls. Vigo challenges John to a brawl and they start fighting once John tosses his gun. He's getting wrecked by John and pulls a knife. John lets himself get stabbed to break his arm and stab him back. They both fall and Vigo dies from the blood lost while John walks away. John takes the car to the vet and starts watching records of his retired life with Helen. He breaks into the vet to take whatever he needs to patch himself up and takes a dog who was about to be put down with him to go home. Well, that's it for John Wick Chapter 1. If you got up to this far, watch the next part or other recaps you may like. If you enjoyed the video, please support me by commenting adopt shelter dogs and leaving a like. Don't forget to subscribe and thanks for watching.
Vigo will kill me.
They know you're coming.
Of course, but it won't matter.